してあげましょう。
Alright, hey everyone. This video is for everyone like me who has a ton of questions about the game and how to do a lot of damage, and these questions just are not being answered. So, through a lot of people helping me randomly through Facebook and Reddit and sometimes YouTube, I'm gonna share everything that I have that took my time from the Galland boss battle down from 238 to 114, I think. I'll post the screenshots. But here's a little guide on what I did to get to that point. Now, there are a lot of people who are doing like sub 30 seconds and things like that. Some of them are just super good, and others just have P9. What I mean by P9 is potential 9. So if you look at Escanor right now, my potential is only 4. And you need like P7 in order to do a whole lot of damage. If you look at his P5, increases the range of the normal skill. Oh, that's for sword and shield. P6 amplifies the normal skill power. P7 inflict damage equal to 65% of defense to nearby enemies when hit while fire barrier is active. That does a lot. And then for his axe, it's even better. Add 2 projectiles to the normal skill. Amplify special attack power by 70% and decrease the HP reduction of Fading Sun. And then as you go down, P9 is probably the best. Amplify ultimate move skill by power by 60%. It's going to be like that for all of your characters, especially freaking Meliodas, who takes same thing basically. Amplify normal skill power by 100%, so that doubles your main damage builder, or your main damage. So you're literally doubling it. And then you go over to the normal skill Final Strike, inflicts additional damage equal to 220%. So unless you're at least P7 and probably P9 from Meliodas, you're just not going to be able to match up with all the people who are doing super low times for everything. But I'm going to show you what I did with my Escanor sword and shield and how to make that decent. So for the axe, you are going to want to try to get, if you're going to main his axe, you do need normal skill damage because that is one of his main damage things. You need crit damage, you need crit chance, and then if you can get ultimate skill damage, that would be great because that's really the biggest thing that you do damage with on Escanor. For sword and shield, mine is okay. The defense increase is huge, that's why I kept it because it's at max. Tag skill damage increase, that's pretty good too, so I kept it there. If I had crit chance and crit damage, that would have been best. So ideally, you're going to want, if you can have all 4, you would want crit chance, crit damage, defense, and then maybe attack increase. But the attack skill damage is pretty good. My Black Flame Wings is at level 2 right now. If you want to increase it to make it higher, that would be great. Because the more you go, the better it gets, obviously. Just adding on that extra, activating a burst, of course, and then also the equipment attack. It raises the higher you go. Okay, so let me show you my stats with Escanor, and that'll show you why I'm doing so much damage right now. So with Escanor, Sword and Shield, he scales off of defense. So if you look on that left-hand side, you see the defense increase is at 176%. That's a lot. I'm doing a ton of damage with that. And then crit damage, 120%. Crit chance is not that great, 43%. But yeah, so that's why if you can raise the crit chance, you want to. At least 50% is decent. Let's see. So armor, you do need to craft the golden dignity. I have crappy rolls. I'm going to try to change that later. You do, of course, want crit chance is fine that I have on there, but I need crit defense or crit damage and also defense. I didn't get that. Level 1 blazing barrier, need to be at least level 2, but here we are. I got lucky with some other people, like she's level 3, she's level 3, and I think, yeah, my Tiore is also level 3. So I got really lucky with them. Meliodas is, oh, I forgot, I got him too, level 3. So yeah, I just have to work on Merlin and Escanor, getting them to at least level 2. If you get level 2, I suggest keeping it there unless you have at least 10 of the needles where you can switch them, because it's going to go back to level 1 and stay there 60% of the time, because that's the rate. But getting back into the rest of it, you want this Immortal Watcher set, because having all 4 of them on there, well, first of all, if you look at the passive, you get magic charging efficiency, which is the only useful one out of all of those. Perseverance, healing received, and crit resistance don't really matter too much. But the 4-piece gives you extra 15% defense. That's really good. And then 5% chance to add additional damage, up to 20% of defense, and inflict bleed. That's huge for Escanor. That's really good. So adding on the extra defense is great. Over here, I have the 2 set of Life Crystal Earring because it gives you Pierce, extra 100%. So Pierce basically makes it so that you ignore some of your opponent's defense. So that just gives you extra attack. And I have also the passive on there, All Elemental Burst Efficiency. That's pretty good because when you switch in with Escanor, if you like use one of his attacks, it'll probably help you with a lot with your getting a burst through. And then lastly, I have the Greedy Ruler ring. I just needed a good ring to put on there. This one had the best stats, and it adds 10% to crit damage, so that's great. If you do have the full Greedy Ruler ring set, that would be good, but I think only for Sword and or not Sword and Shield, for Axe Escanor, because with Sword and Shield you need the extra defense, and the Greedy Ruler set just doesn't give you any defense, only yeah, only crit chance and crit damage, which is great, but not for Sword and Shield Escanor. So next, let me go to the weapon. Oh, I did that already, right? Yeah, the damage increase and the tag increase, and then HP increase. So those are decent, but I might try to reroll. Well, I'm not going to try to reroll those actually, because the only thing I would need is crit damage and crit chance, but that max defense increase and tag skill is really good, so I'm keeping that there. As I showed you earlier, my potential is only at 4, and right now I'm going to show you that battle with Escanor that I did, because I was not even trying to get that extra challenge I got where you have to do it with without taking any damage, but I somehow was able to do that. So, oh, I guess I'll go through the other characters though. The 4-man team that I run is Escanor, Manny, Daisy, and Merlin. So for Manny, yeah, just use the Black Flame Wings. It doesn't really matter too much for her. All you're really using her for is her skill that she has. Let me see. Well, let's go here first. Increase the ultimate move damage by 50% when an allied hero attacks an enemy affected by punishment. That's really big with her, so that's why every time you go, every time before you switch to Escanor, you're going to want to switch to her. Press, if you're on console, circle, and then triangle. So increase ultimate move if they're affected by punishment, and landing a normal attack additionally restores the magic gauge by 15. So yeah. Next one, grant all allies in range Draco Priestess. I don't know why I said it like that, but increase crit damage by 30% and magic charging efficiency by 25%. Whenever you go into battle, you always want to start with her, because as soon as you hit circle, you are, or is that triangle? One of them. That's triangle. As soon as you hit triangle, you're giving everybody extra crit damage, and you're helping your magic charging efficiency. So that makes it so that you are getting your ultimate faster with Escanor. That's really important. Next one, this is your circle attack. Inflict damage to 168%. That doesn't matter. Her damage is not that great as staff wielder. But the important thing is the punishment. Inflict punishment for 15 seconds, and of course we know that when you have punishment, you are increasing the ultimate move damage by 30% when you attack an enemy afflicted or affected by punishment. So you're just giving him 30% more damage, giving Escanor 30% more damage. So it's important to go in and hit him with that. So circle and then triangle and then switch to Escanor, R2 and then circle and then triangle with him too. That's pretty much the rotation for him. You don't really need her skill or her ultimate. The first strike, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Then of course you have Daisy. If you can get high enough to do a tag team attack with Daisy and Escanor, then go for it. But I was not focusing on her tag team attack. It's normally really good, but with Escanor Sword and Shield, you kind of want to spam his attack as quickly as possible, or at least that's what I found. But her ultimate is really, really good. So if you can do a tag team attack with her, then go to Escanor, that'd be great. Let me show you why. First, her main thing, landing a normal attack inflicts electromagnetic on the enemy for 40 seconds and increased damage by 20% when your street lamp hits someone affected by that. So it decreases their crit resistance by 20%. One thing that a lot of people perhaps don't do that you need to do with Daisy, once you switch to her, you're going to want to attack them like right away. So hit square like once or twice to make sure you hit the enemy, and then go to circle twice. This is your circle, your street lamp. Summon the street lamp thing, and it grants electric charge. And then use this. This increases your crit damage by 15% for 40 seconds. All allies. So that increases your crit damage by 15%. So Escanor is getting a 45% boost minimum if you're using Daisy and Manny and using their skills properly. But her ultimate is super good because it decreases the enemy's crit defense by 50%. So basically, if you Escanor, his crit resistance was at, let me go back because I forgot. Oh yeah, crit chance is 43%. So if you use that, and then you use Daisy, who her ultimate lowers it by 50%. If you're at least 50% with Escanor, then that's 100% crit defense. So that means that they have 0 crit defense. So that means you are going to ignore that. So that means you are going to land your crits every single time, because the crit defense on the enemy makes it so that it's less likely for you to get a critical hit off, and that is super important. So using her ult makes it guaranteed crits basically with Escanor if you have 50% minimum uh, crit attack or crit chance. So that's why her ultimate is super important. I wasn't focusing on it with Escanor. I was just trying to spam his attack as much as possible. Because basically I'll be getting a crit off 50% of the time with the stats that I have with him. So I just kind of took that chance. But that's not really suggested, I guess. Merlin, I really like my build with Merlin because, let me go to show you her stuff. Let's see. So yeah, crit damage 123%, crit chance 48%. But her, where's the important thing? Magic charging efficacy, wherever that is. I guess they don't have a stat for that. But yeah, but for her, I just focus on burst. I'm sorry, I focus on her burst efficacy. So that means as soon as pretty much I use all of her attack, the enemy is going to be fire bursted, and that is super important for. Yeah, it's not there. But that is super important for Escanor, just getting the fire burst through, because it gives them more damage basically. So if you look at her armor, all elemental burst efficacy is 9.8%. That's really good. And then that's the only thing that matters, so that's all I have on her right now, because she's just support right now. I'm not using her for her attacks. I have the ominous star top. Go to Galland, get this. You're gonna need it. Crit chance gives you a lot of extra crit chance, which is really good. And I use this. I haven't seen a lot of people using this, but it's super good if you're gonna give her a burst. So landing a plunging attack increases the burst gauge by 200, which is super good. Forget the 200% of attack, that's good too, but the most important thing is getting them to burst. So you basically just press X to jump, square to do a plunging attack, and that does an extra 200 on the burst. I also have the Twisted Thought set. You're going to want to get that because all elemental burst efficacy plus 15%, and you have a 5% chance to restore the tag gauge by 1000. The tag gauge is really important, especially if you're fighting someone like in the time space thing, and anywhere basically. It's good to have the tag gauge. So yeah, Twisted Thought is what you're going to want to have on her for the burst. And then I use this one. Using the tag skill inflicts damage to 140%, and it also increases your tag skill a lot. And lastly, the Venom Spindle. This is really good because activating the burst summons a spider silk near enemies, and it lowers their movement speed. For weapons, I have her Black Flame Wing Staff. I was trying to roll to get higher fire burst efficacy, but that's the best I could do right now. So that's what I have with her. If you're running her cold, you're definitely going to want the Gluttonous Soul Grimoire, and that is good for the Tyrannus raid. So you're going to want cold burst efficacy, at least that's what I like on it, and then cold damage increase is really good. It'd be great if you had crit chance and crit damage, but you know, you can't get everything. But I kept this one because cold burst and cold damage is huge on that one, so that's really, really good. And I think that's all I have for now. So yeah, oh, one more thing I'll show you though, because it is useful to have Tiore if for healing. I was wondering why people would use an SR character instead of SSR, but apparently she's the best healer outside of the new character, of course, Elizabeth. So I don't have her, so I'm using Tiore. Her healing right now, it gives me over 10,000 heals every second. But that is also because she is potential 9. I'm a free-to-play player, but they just gave me a ton of her. So I have her at P9. And it amplifies the normal skills healing recovery by 60% at 9. At 10, it's even better if you can get that. Using the tag skill adds up to 15% for every 1 second for 10 seconds of HP. So she's a great healer, and yeah, you just focus on healing efficacy for her. I'm just going to go through and show you. 9.72% for healing efficacy, 3.98%, and then also the 3-piece gets you 15% healing efficacy. That is 3.9% again. Magic charging, because that's also important. And yeah, I have the 2-piece on this just because the pierce, because I'm going for healing efficacy, so there was nothing else really to put on there. Alright, I hope this helps for all the people who are like me and basically a noob at this game and don't really know what they're doing. But yeah, now I'm going to show you my run through with Galland and how I got to like 1 minute and 14 seconds is my record.